Hi, this is Oliver, and welcome back to my channel about learning English, practice English with Oliver. And today, questions I am going to answer for you about what can we learn from, exactly from the Laboratory of Literature. Two great thinkers. Let's get started. We have a feeling in a lot of literatures is very important, right? And as many of us avoid the categories altogether. Feeling is a waste of time. To pick up literatures when we can learn so much more from non-fictions. Literature, however, is a waste of time at all. It's in a waste of time. In fact, literature save us more times. And why? I will answer that. Literatures rapidly increase our learning. We learn through experience, either our own or those of the other people. Literature exemplifies our exposure to a range of the situations and events that would otherwise take decades for us to experience ourselves. For example, we can safely learn what it's like to get divorced, quit a job, and fly to another country on a whim, having an affair, be in love, and kill someone. Literature is allowed us to live other lives. We can be a princess or a prince, and we can explore what really on our minds, which makes us feel less lonely. We can be good or evil. We can explore taboo sexual fantasies and more. And importantly, we can explore what an honesty and safety that is generally unavailable to us in our day-to-day life. We don't have to compromise, as the Emersons wrote in the works of great writers, we find our own neglected thoughts. Through literatures, we develop emotional connections with characters and shared communities. We witness unparalleled kindness and terror, and through these experiences, we start to learn about ourselves and others. Reading the right passage can feel like the author knows us better than we know ourselves. It can put curious coherence to think of our only felt. If we are the territories, good literatures can be a map. Literature opens up to a wider range of emotions. We learn to shift our perspective by putting ourselves in the shoes of others. We learn about who we are and who we want to be, and we experience the second order consequences of choices without having to live them ourselves. Literatures allow us for our communities. All literatures encompasses at least a communities of two, the reader and the writer, and each member plays a valuable role. As Santos writes, each one trusts the other, each one counts on the other, demands on the other as much as he demands on himself. The communities of great books become so large that it becomes part of our culture. When this happens, the work allows us to share experiences with others we never met, making us better global citizens. Echo explains certain characters that become somehow true for the collective's imaginations because over the course of centuries, we have made emotional investment in them. Many generations of people have experienced Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice and authors from The Three Musketeers. These stories have become part of our shared fabric, even for those who haven't read the books, which transcend time and place. These characters make it feel, whether it's the joys that Elizabeth felt reading diary letters or the sadness of the author felt because he could never come to terms with the complexity of Milady. And importantly, we learned moral lessons. Who does know all for once and one for all? Echo suggests that literature has a lot to teach us about fate or destiny because no matter one's desire, the story is already written and cannot be changed. As a reader, we'll discover more than information. It is the discovery that things happened and have always happened in a particular way. We all wish that we could change stories, that we could sit down with the characters and say, hey, are you overthinking this retribution thing? Or just be honest with her, she loves you, and revise their endings. Echo thinks that is a part of the powers of literature. I guess all are designed to change destiny. They make tangible the impossibilities of changing it, and in so doing, no matter the story they are telling, they are also telling our own story, and that why they read them and love them. Through this emotional investment, we start to see the world through the eyes of others with a limited information. Literature further contributes to developing communities by participating in the creations or language and identity. Echo writes that without Dante, there would have been no unified Italian language. And then go on to say, we might also think of the great civilizations. What's that been like without Homer, German identity without Luther translations of the Bible, and Russian language without Pushkin, or Indian civilization without the foundation epics. The language used in work of literature that attracts large communities enters the lexicons and become part of the identity of the collective. Even if you haven't read the original work as impact is accessible to you. For example, how many of us know that a foregone conclusion originates the Ola on hello, or that his cousin on a laughing stock came from the merry wives of Windsor. These phrases starters in the words of Shakespeare's, but the huge communities of readers has taken these beyond their original pages and made them part of everyday speech to the extent that we no longer associate them with new literature. They're just how we speak. Another values of literature is its link with freedom. The freedom we express ideas that challenge people, to create language to capture aspect of the human condition, to bring to the forefront stories that go against the majorities and which in doing so might make us uncomfortable, satires raised. The freedom of writing implies the freedom of the citizens. One does not write for slaves. The art of prose is bound to be the only regimes, and which prose has meaning democracy. When one is threatened, the other is too. Literature's questions if asked, what if? What is she does? What if she does this? What if the world was like that? It places characters in certain times and space, imbues them with the particular qualities, and lets them go, showing us what can happen if we marry the wrong persons, ignore our values, or survive a war, and thus implores us to a question as well: Are we making the right choices? This, of course, implies that we have choices, and this saturates link to democracy. To write and to read both invokes freedom. Thus, the value of literature is more than the stories. It is also a link it provides to others, the sense of communities it can develop, and social structures it supports.